process. Going through the samsara is such a painful process. Why? Think about all those things. Nikan Buddhahamduru Isra, don't just say Buddhan Saranam Gacchami. Think about what you mean when you say that. Think about why this samsara is such a painful process. Think about what's the problem that you are trying to solve. එතකොට කියන්නේ බුද්ධං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි කියලා. ඒ කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? මම මේ බුදුන් සරණ යනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ මම භවයේ උදුරලා දාන වැඩපිළිවෙලට මම එකඟ වෙනවා කියලා. I want to stop this rebirth cycle. That's what you are saying. Okay? So once you come to that determination, once that you set that as your goal, I need to stop this rebirth cycle, then your next question will be, how do I do it? If your goal is to pass your GCSEs, your next question will be, how do I do it? Then you go to school. Then you learn from your teachers. Right? And they give you they teach you how to do it. This is why you need to take refuge in the Dhamma. It is the Dhamma that helps you to attain that Nibbana. It's the understanding of the Dhamma. Anekai Dhammang Saranang Gacchami. Saranang kina vachane loku terumak. There's a big meaning in the word Saranang. Okay, now you understand what is Buddha. What is Saranam?
I take refuge in the
So I take refuge in the Buddha. What does Saranam? I take refuge. I mean, we talked about this a little bit. Saranam kina vachane terumakti. I mean, it's a singular word, sir. What does that word mean? Saranam. It is, yes, I take refuge. That is what Saranam means. But I think it's important to understand what makes up this word Saranam. The etymology of the word Saranam is Sara-na. Saranam. Saranam. Sara plus nam. What is Sara? Remember Sansara? We talked about Sansara. Sounds similar, does it not? Sansara. Saranam. What is Sansara? Yeah, so samsara is this process of death and rebirth. Okay? So sara kiyanne, so sansara kiyanne is that process. Saranam kiyanne means sari sarana වැඩපිළිවෙල. ඒ කියන්නේ this process of going through sansara is sara nam. Nam කියන්නේ මොකද? ගසලා දානවා කියන්නේ. නැති කරලා දානවා කියන්නේ. I want to stop it. නසනවා කියන සිංහලෙන් නසනවා කියන්නේ නැති කරන දානවා කියන්නේ. තේරුණාද? එතකොට සරණං කියන්නේ සර කියන්නේ rebirth process එක, නම් කියන්නේ නවතනවා කියන්නේ. දැන් තේරුණාද බුද්ධං සරණං කියන එකේ කොච්චර තේරුමක් තියෙනවද? නිකම් බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ ඉස්සරහට කියලා බුදුහාමුදුරනේ බුද්ධං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි කියුවට වඩා කොච්චර අද ඔයගොල්ලන්ට තේරුමක් ඇතිව කරන්න පුළුවන්ද ඔය වැඩේ? Now when you go and stand in front of the Buddha and go Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, what you are saying is, me sansare navattanna. Because there is a huge problem with the sansara. I need to stop this rebirth cycle. That is why saranang, sara nasanna. Hari? Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. Me bhavaya udurala දාන්න ඕනේ. සර නවත්තන්න නම් මොකද කරන්න ඕනේ? භවය උදුරලා දාන්න ඕනේ. To stop this rebirth cycle, I need to pull this bhava from the roots. So it's not just going in front of a person and saying, when you say Buddhaṃ Saranam Gacchāmi, it's not about taking refuge in the physical form of the Buddha. I mean, that is only the surface. There is a much deeper meaning that you today understand. Okay? So then, Dhammang Sarana. Ena mukad? Sara nasanna. To stop this process of going through sansara. Okay? Sara nasanna. Nasanna kene nati kalla dana. Hari? Sara nasanna. I have to take refuge in the Dhamma. Because there's no other Dhamma that teaches me how to do it. The Bible doesn't teach me how to do that. The Holy Quran doesn't teach me how to do that. Because they all talk about going to heaven, be united with God. There's nothing wrong with that. But as Buddhists, we have a bigger problem to solve. We are not satisfied with just going to heaven. We are seeking something more than that. Because we believe that going into heaven is also a temporary thing. We might be there for many thousands of years, maybe eons sometimes. But even that comes to an end. That's the problem. If you came to this country and you were given a 25-year visa, just imagine a 25-year visa. The first day you came, you'll be like, yeah, I've got plenty of time. I've got, 25 years, that's a long time. 5 years in, I've still got 20 years left. No problem, I've got plenty of time. 10 years in, 15 years in, 20 years in, that's when you start to get, I've only got 5 years left. I need to start doing something about this. 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, 1 year. 6 months left. Now you're really getting worried. I need to extend my visa. And they say, no visa extension available. Or to extend your visa, you need to do all of these merits. Because you got this 25-year visa, not by sitting on your ass all day. You had to do a lot of work. You had to put in many applications. You had to get lots of qualifications from university or your job. Right? You had to show that you had lots of experience. And that is why you got this 25-year visa. But if you want us to extend it, you need to show us more evidence. It's the same thing. If you want to continue life in Divyaloka, in the heaven realms, you need to do more ping. Question. Do you think it's easier to do merits in heaven, or do you think it's easier to do merits in the human realm? Do you think gods need your help? No. They have everything they need. You can't even go and find a beggar to give some food in heaven. There are no beggars in heaven. You can't go and give dane to Hamduru in heaven. You can give dane to Hamduru in human world, right? You think ochchara deval ogalanta karanna puluwan me manussa loke innakam vitarයි. So you put all your money into that deposit, you go to heaven, and now you're like, oh, my money is running out and I can't no one's giving me a job to actually earn any more money. Imagine that situation. Imagine you had to, when you came to this country, they said, you cannot work while you're here. You can only spend any money you brought with you when you came to this country. Every time you spend your money, you'll be very careful, won't you? Why? Because it's running out. You can't earn any more money. They don't allow you to earn any more money. Students, especially in this country, back in the day, they used to allow them to work 20 hours or so. Now they don't allow students to work any number of hours in this country. If you come as a student, you spend any money you've taken with you brought with you, but you can't earn any money. So then they'll be very careful how they spend their money. And they know when my money runs out, I have to go back. So when you go to heaven, it's the same thing there. There is no one that needs your help. Pinak karaganna kochchara amaru. At least if you attain a margapada, you can go to the heavens and preach the Dhamma. Sabbadhanam Dhammadhanam jinati. Alatina. Of all the danas, Dhammadana is the most supreme. It's the biggest dana of all danas, you can imagine. People give food, people give clothes, medicine. Even if you go to the Pansala and offer dana to Hamuduru, if you can teach someone some Dhamma to help them attain Nibbana, that has many, many times more merit than offering dana to a Hamuduru. Mama kiyana deyak නෙමෙයි. Shastra Mahanse has said this. Shastra Mahanse says, if you offer some food to an animal, you have some merits, right? You'll get some good merits out of it. Offering some food to a human being is many thousand times more than that. Imagine you give a plate of food to an animal, a dog. If you offer that same plate to a human being, the amount of merit you can acquire from that is many thousand times more. And that could be any person. It could be a robber. It could be a murderer. Doesn't matter. It could be someone in prison because they've committed the most atrocious sins ever. And you go and offer them that dana. they are still a human being, remember. As a human being, they have more merit themselves. Their level of state of mind is is greater than that of an animal. And because of that you get more merit. And then the Lord Buddha continues that message. He says, offering that same plate of food to a Sotapanna Marga, someone who's on the path to Sotapanna, is many thousand times more than offering it to a Pruthajjana person. A Pruthajjana is someone who hasn't listened to the Dhamma. So most, people of other religions, people who don't believe in any religion, anyone, scientists, anyone, right? Murderers, anybody like that. So imagine Angulimala. Have you heard of Angulimala, Sashi? So if you offered some dana to Angulimala before he met the Buddha, and then you gave him the dana after he listened to the message of the Buddha, do you think the merit you would get would be the same? No. Because now he's a Sotapanna Marga and he's a Sotapanna Pada. He's now attained Marga Pada. Before he was only Pruthajjana. Right? And then he says, and the Buddha continues, if you offer dana to a Sotapanna Pada, it's many thousand times more than if you offered, this is the amount, imagine, same pot of food, but the amount of, the balance in your account, it keeps going up. Okay? Then he says, Sakurdagami Marga, Sakurdagami Pala, Anagami Marga, Anagami Pala, Arahat Marga, Arahat Pala. Understand? Are you following me? Then he said, Paseka Buddha. If you offer a Pacheka Buddha dane, it is many thousand times more than if you offered the same dane to an Arahat. Then if you offered the same dane to a Samma Sambuddha, it is many thousand times more than if you offered that dana to a Pacheka Buddha. Now here's the most interesting thing that he says afterwards. Then he says, if you cultivate, if you for a moment that you blink your eyes, how long does it take? 3 months? 1 second. If you for that 1 second reflect on Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta, the amount of merit you get out of that is many thousand times more than if you offered a dana to a Samma Sambuddha. Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta වඩන එකෙන් මොකක්ද වෙන්නේ? ප්‍රඥා ශාසනය. දාන දෙන එකෙන් මොකක්ද වෙන්නේ? What do you fulfill? කරුණා ශාසනය. ඔය දෙකෙන් මොකක්ද කරන්න ලේසි? In the time of the Buddha, don't you think every man and woman at the time would have wanted to go and offer the dana to the Buddha? So how difficult do you think would have been to actually get a dana at the temple? Or at the monastery, to go and offer dana to the Buddha? Think about the danas you have now, today, right? Now in Australia, apparently they have about 20 temples. In Melbourne itself. About 20 temples in Melbourne. How many temples do we have here, in this area? 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 5, not more than that, as far as I know. Okay? But we have a lot of people that want to go and offer dana. So when you go and ask the Hamduro, Swami wants, can I offer a dana? The Hamduro will, sorry Mahatya, edanam dana someone else has written their name in the diary. What about next Saturday? Oh, someone's got a name there as well. Okay, what about tomorrow? Someone's got their name there. Because this is how difficult it is to offer a dana. Because everyone wants to give a dana. Why? Because everyone believes in the Karuna Shasana. Now in the time of the Buddha, how difficult do you think it would have been then to give a dana to a Samma Sambuddha? But then he says, Etcharat karunata vada anicca dukkha anatta eka ahipillak gahana mohata. Just like that. That amount of time, if you reflect on anicca dukkha anatta, that's many thousand times more than offering a dana to Samma Sambuddha. How difficult it is to do that? Is it to do that? Then another prajna shasane purne karana kochchara lesida kiyala. This is why this Dharamayai Obai program is all about fulfilling the prajna shasana. Because everywhere else you get all of the support you need to fulfill the karuna shasana. And you need that. You absolutely need it. There's no question about it. Because that's what takes you and gives you a good life. It gives you food, it gives you shelter, it gives you clothes, it gives you medicines. Right? When you're sick, it takes you to heaven. and stops you from going into hell. But that's temporary. If you fulfill Prajnashasana, the first step in Prajnashasana stops you from going into hell permanently. Karunashasana kochchara karanna onedda hella kara yanna නෙවෙයි. සාක්ෂිවට මම මේ කියන දේ තේරෙනවද? You have to do so much of Karunashasana to not go into hell. But that also we are not sure. It may or may not happen. Remember what happened to Kosala Mallika? She gave the Asadrusha Dane, a Dane that has never been seen or heard of before, to Samma Sambuddha and 500 Rahatan Manse, and she went to hell. Achchara Dane Adina. Adapi denne samme Asadrusha Dane. You and I, when we go to the temple, do we give Asadrusha Dane? But Prajnashasana, if you take the first step of Prajnashasana, which is to become Sotapanna, you will never ever go to hell again. This is why it's so important. Thero. So we were talking about Sarana. Then Thero, when you say Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, what you should be thinking to yourself is, Me samsare, this journey in samsara is so futile. I have never got anything that has satisfied me. I've been living in this samsara for so long, and even today I'm still working hard, looking for happiness and satisfaction. And I still haven't found it. So I need to stop this process. It's useless going through this. I'm not getting anything out of it. The only thing that's going to help me do that is the Buddha's teaching. And therefore, Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Bana kochchara deva vinadi pahak kadda etor then Buddhan Saranam Gacchami, Dhamman Saranam Gacchami, Sangham Saranam Gacchami kiyan. If you want to do it properly, you'll probably be there for at least half an hour just reciting Buddhan Saranam Gacchami. Buddhan Saranam Gacchami kiyala kochchara deva hitanna tiyenawada. How much do you have to think and reflect on what I mean by Buddhan Saranam Gacchami? Otherwise they are just words. If you say something to upset your mother, okay? Ammi or tati, and they are sad about something you said, they are upset. You go and say, oh sorry, Mine, sorry, bye. How would they feel? They'll be like, why bother? You don't even mean it. What's the point? If you actually mean it, you need to sit down with them, right? You need to be genuine in why you say that. Ammi tati, I realized what I did was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. For all the things that you do for me, I shouldn't have said something like that. I shouldn't have done something like that. I now realize why what I said was wrong. It hurt your feelings, and I didn't mean to do it. Or maybe I did, and I'm wrong, I really am wrong. Please forgive me. Now that you can't do in a few seconds. Now that is about apologizing to your parents. We are talking about Buddhang Saranam Gacchami, which is about reflecting on this samsaric process, why it's such a painful process, and we are coming to the conclusion that I need to stop this samsara process, and for that there is no other refuge than the Buddha, there is no other refuge than the Dhamma, and then there is no other refuge than the Sangha. Can you do that in 2 minutes? And then kalpana කරන්න පොඩ්ඩක් මොකද සංඝං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි කියන්නේ. Again, we need to go into the makeup of the word Sangha. What is Sang? Sangsara. The Sang appears a lot of times in the Buddha's teaching. Because the Buddha's teaching was all about Sang, the cause for Sang, the way to stop Sang, and the path for it. This Sang gasala dana වැඩ පිළිවෙල ගැන තමයි බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ අපිට දේශනා කරන්නේ. ගසලා දානවා කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? To shake off. නේ කාපට් එක ගසනවා කියන්නේ. Okay? Sang කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? Yes. Sang is avidya tanha. The combination of avidya and trishna is one meaning. Another meaning of Sang is things coming together. And therefore suffering. Avidya trishna තියෙන තැනනේ suffering තියෙන්නේ. රාතන් වහන්සේට suffering නැහැ, mental suffering එකක් නැහැ. මොකද උන්වහන්සේට අවිද්‍යා තෘෂ්ණා නැහැ. There is no attachment and delusion. Okay? So, sang කියන එක, කියන්නේ avidya trishna, ignorance and attachment. ඒක ගසලා දානවා. I need to dust it off. I need to shake it off. තේරෙනවද? ඒතර සංඝයා වහන්සේ කියන්නේ කාටද? කාටද සංඝයා වහන්සේ කියන්නේ සාෂි? ආමුද්‍රෝ. සංඝයා වහන්සේ කියන්නේ avidya trishna, this attachment and delusion. I need to shake off this attachment delusion. I need to stop this attachment and delusion process. This is why I'm in samsara. I need to stop this process. When you come to that realization, now you see, first Buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi, you realize me sara nasanna, I have to pull out bhave or this samsara from its roots. Right? That was Buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi. Then you say Dhammam saranam gacchāmi. Okay, now I know what I need to do. How do I do it? It is the Buddha's Dhamma that's going to help me do that. Therefore I seek refuge in the Dhamma. Then thirdly you go, okay, now I know what I need to do. Now I know how I need to do it. What do you do next? You go and do it. Right? And that is Sangham Saranam Gacchāmi. So you say, now I understand what causes this attachment and attachment and delusion process. This is what causes this samsara process. Attachment, and because, the Dhamma teaches us that, when you look at the Paticcasamuppada process, it's this attachment, it's this delusion, avidya tanha, that takes us in this samsara process. For as long as we are attached to things, we go through samsara. And we are attached to things because we have a delusion. Our delusion, our ignorance tells us that Icca sukha, nitya sukha, atta subha. This delusion keeps us in samsara. Now if I eradicate that delusion and come to the understanding that it is anicchai, dukkhay, anattai, asubhai, I have stopped this rebirth cycle. Right? So, anna eka therum aragena, I'm going to eradicate that. I'm going to shake it off. Sang gasaladana. Therefore, Sangham Saranam Gacchāmi. තේරුණාද? ඉතින් බලන්න කොච්චර තේරුමක් තියෙනවද කියලා ඔකට. That's why I keep telling you, the Buddha doesn't sneeze if it doesn't help someone attain Nibbana. Every word he says, every syllable he uses, because he's the perfect one, remember? He doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't do things just so. Not like you and me. If he smiles, there's a reason for that. Not just any old reason. There's a reason that's going to help someone attain Nibbana. Everything he says, everything he did, it all helps you and I to attain Nibbana. But the challenge for us is that we don't see that. We need someone's help to work it out. And that is where Kalyana Mitras come in. This is why we talk about this Dhamma. To help you understand the meaning, the profound meaning of the Buddha's teaching. Because after he passes away, we are now 2,500 years after his passing away, that deep meaning is lost. And it becomes, because it's difficult for people to do, right? If I gave someone the option, do you want to spend half an hour saying Buddhaṃ Saranam Gacchāmi, or do you just want to do 2 minutes of Buddhaṃ Saranam Gacchāmi and go away? I can't spend half an hour, I've got other things to do. Why? Because I need to go and I need to go and be a rich man. I need to go and be an educated man. I need to become a doctor. I need to be this. I need to be that. For that, I can't be sitting here and going Buddhaṃ Saranam Gacchāmi for half an hour. I'm going to miss my school bus. I'm going to miss my classes. I'm going to be late for my job. So if you want to go with this world, you won't have time for doing what you need to do and to reflect on the deeper meaning of the Buddha's teaching. Because the Buddha's teaching was to help us attain Nibbana. Nothing else. ඉතින් ඒක කරන්න වෙලාවක් නැහැ ලෝකෙ අල්ලන්නේ ඕන කෙනාට. ඉතින් එතකොට පොඩ මොකද වෙන්නේ? The deeper meaning of the Buddha's teaching is lost. And you are left with just the surface. And then people say, oh, now how can you attain Nibbana? I can't attain Nibbana now. The Nibbana is lost now. We need to wait until Maitri Budun comes into this world and then teaches us Nibbana again. Well, not really. He's not going to say anything different. He's not going to teach a different kind of Paticcasamuppada. He's going to teach the same Paticcasamuppada. He's not going to say, birth is due to something else. He's going to say birth is due to avidya and tanha. It's going to be the same message. Otherwise it's not the truth, is it? If there's there can't be two versions of the truth. There can only be one version of the truth. So, what I want you to do then is when you say your gathas, when you recite your prayers or gatha with your parents, or if you do it by yourselves, and when you say Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Sanghang Saranang Gacchami, I want you to take time to reflect on what you are saying. Maybe you might not have the time to do it then and there, because you need to offer flowers, you need to light the candles, and everyone needs to go about their ways. But you can do it while you're on the bed, before you fall asleep. You don't need to be standing in front of the Buddha statue to do Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, because now you understand it's not about standing in front of a person and venerating them. Buddhahamduro kavadada kiyala tiyenne, when has the Buddha ever said, the biggest veneration you can do is to come and worship me? What did he say? What did he say the biggest veneration you can do for me is? To attain Nibbana. And to do that, you need to practice the Dhamma I teach you. Think about this. If you say you have some kind of disease, an uncurable disease, okay? Think about this, Sashi, right? Imagine you had some kind of rash on your arm, and no matter what doctor you go to here, they can't give you a medicine for that. Now your parents work really, really hard. They try calling their friends. They ring your relatives back home, and they go to other countries, and finally they realize actually there's a doctor that lives in Sri Lanka. Now because of this rash, they don't let you go there. You have to wait until this doctor comes here. Okay? Now after all the work that he has, he's very busy, because he's very busy treating other patients as well. Because only he knows how to cure this problem, this disease. Only he has the medicine for that. But he has to come to you to give you that. So he finds the time after many, many, many months, after many, many years. Your parents go and say, please doctor, can you come and treat my child, because she's suffering. She's got this rash on her arm. She's had it for many years now. And we've gone to every doctor we can imagine, all kinds of specialists, and they still haven't been able to cure it. I've heard that you are able to do this. Please can you come out of compassion for us? Please can you come and cure this? And he says, I don't charge you anybody for curing. This is all free. But the only problem is, because only I have the way to cure this, everybody wants my time. And I'm booked for the next few years. I can come, but I'll come in 5 years' time. You have no option. So your parents go, okay, please come in 5 years' time. And then, the doctor says, until then, please take care of her. Make sure it doesn't get any worse. Attend to it. Okay? And then the doctor comes after 5 years. Now you're waiting and waiting, right? You're waiting for many years. After 5 years, the doctor comes. Now I don't need to tell you how you will be treating him when he comes in. This is someone you've been waiting for many years to come into your home, right? But after he comes into your home, do you then go take him around, show him all there is to show in London, London Eye and Madame Tussauds and this and that? Or do you get the treatment that you need? You get the treatment that you need. What if the doctor dies as soon as he walks in? What if he gets some kind of allergic reaction because he's not used to this climate? You've been waiting for 5 years for this doctor to come. The moment he walks into your home, you'll be like, this is the rash, here's my daughter, please treat her, soon. You don't know what's going to happen to the doctor. Right? Now apply the same thing to what you need to do as Buddhists. You have a doctor, that is our Shastron Mahanse, who's come into this world after many, 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 many eons. And all that time, he was trying to realize Nibbana for himself. And he was helping other people along the way. But we've all had this rash, which is samsara. This disease which is samsara, that we've never been able to cure. We've gone to Jesus Christ and asked Him, "Oh Jesus Christ, how do I cure this problem of samsara?" And He goes, "Beats me. I have no idea. I can tell you how to go to heaven, and I've got a clear cut, I've got a tested, tried and guaranteed method for that. Do you want to try this?" And we go, "Actually, that's okay, but I actually need to attain samsara. I want Nibbana. That's not what I came here for. Well, I'm sorry, I can't help you then." Then you go to Lord Vishnu. You go to Lord Shiva. You go to Prophet Muhammad. You go to all the gods and, philosophers. You go to Einstein. You go to this person, you go to that person. You go all around. How do I stop this rebirth cycle? And they all say, "Beats me, I'm looking for the same." And then the Lord Buddha comes in. And he says, "Here is the way to do it." Now, when he gives you that message, do you spend time then doing all of the other things that you could have, you have been getting from all of the other people until then, karuna shasane purne kara kara divya loke yanna balan innada? Naththam when you get the Buddha's message, do you, like as if there was no tomorrow, you just practice what he teaches you so that you can attain Nibbana as soon as possible. At least attain Sotapanna. Because if you die, the hells are just waiting for you with their gates open. With a red carpet saying welcome. Because that's our home. We've come here with a visa. And I'm not talking about UK, I'm talking about this world. As a human being, I've come into this human being with a visa. When my visa expires, I go back into hell. Unless I attain Amadassana. And the same applies to you as well. Unless you become a Sotapanna. We've talked about this before. Unless you become a Sotapanna, you just walk through those gates back into hell. And then you have to wait many, many, many eons again before you come out again and then find the Buddha's teaching. So when you go to bed, before you fall asleep, think about all this, reflect on this. Why do I say Buddhan Saranam Gacchami? I've gone to all other religious leaders, I've gone to Jesus Christ, I've gone to Prophet Muhammad, I have gone to Lord Shiva, I've gone to Lord Vishnu. When I ask them, how do I attain Nibbana? None of them have ever had an answer for me. They've all said, come to heaven. Come to heaven, be united with me. Do all of these good things. And you can live with me for happily ever after. But what they don't realize is, life in those realms they've also got an expiry date. You go there with these full bank accounts, you don't realize, think about the 25-year visa. Until you come to the end of that, it doesn't hit you. But when you get to the last 5 years, last 4 years, that's when you start realizing. Even the Devas, you would have watched that TV program, right? And Thus Have I Heard. Remember how when the Bodhisattva was close to leaving the Deva world, all of the flowers, the scent, and the colors of his body, right? The bright colors of his body start to fade away. That's when the Devas know that it's time for me to go. It's time for me to leave the Deva world. Because my merits have started to run out. They have realms, they have kingdoms there, palaces. They start disappearing. You look one way and you look the other way and it's gone. Why? Because your merits have now ceased. Hetu tibba takkal, phale tibba. Then divya loke in hetu nathi venakota, eva tika podda podda chuta vena patan ganna. So it's time for you to leave the Deva worlds. Well, how do you think Devas feel then? See, one thing I often tell people is, how particularly women and young girls think, they're so beautiful, so pretty, right? If you put that person in front of a Deva, what do you think the Deva would say? Do not bring that thing anywhere near me. Why? Because to them, goddesses will be what's good looking and what they find attractive, not human beings. For them, human beings are like trash. Just like for us, animals are like that. You don't go after a cow or a female dog, a bitch, and go, oh, how good looking you are. Can I be with you? You don't do like that. Imagine, it's the same thing, same concept. For devas, human beings are the same. Unless you attain a margapala. And then the gods come and worship you. Because now, they don't just see the physical body, now they are venerating the qualities within you. Ange ganda neme eto regulo balanne. Sil suwanda. Tena man kiyapu. The qualities, the great qualities that you have within you, that's what they venerate. That's what they worship. Anna edata, ogolunta margapalayak tiyena dawasaka. When you have margapala, even if you're on your deathbed, and you're passing urine and stools on your bed, because you don't have enough power within you to get up and go to the toilet, gods will come and worship you. And they will ask you, please come to the heavens with us, after your time here. But that you can only do by fulfilling the Prajna Shasana. That's not going to happen through Karuna Shasana. And remember, I repeat this, I reiterate this message. I'm not saying Karuna Shasana is bad. You have to do it. For as long as you survive, for as long as you remain a lay person, you have to do a job, right? Even you and I, we've decided to go and become monks and nuns in the monastery. Until I'm here, I need to go to my job. I need to do my job. I need to get money. Just because I think, I have another way of life, I can't just stop doing my job because I still need to feed my family. I need to eat, I need to pay a mortgage. I need to pay my bills. And that I can't get through Prajna Shasana or Karuna Shasana. I have to go and, the Buddha doesn't give me a solution for that. For that, I need to go and do a job. So likewise, for as long as you need to survive in this samsara, you need Karuna Shasana. Why? Because you need the merits to keep you going. But while you've got the Buddha's message so clearly, do not forget that that should be your number one objective. Okay? How are we doing for time? 2 hours? Do you have any questions?
Enlightenment and then after how do we know it exists? Because no one's gone to Nibbana and then come back and be like, oh, that's something.
Yes. So this is a really good question. So for the benefit of those online, I'll repeat the question, Shani. So you're asking, how do we know Parinibbana exists? Because people go into Parinibbana, they attain Parinibbana, but they don't come back to say about it, right? The Buddha's message is about, it's a logical message. Right? Now, you and I, we've never been to Jupiter, we've never been to Uranus, we've never been to these planets. I don't think anyone has either. Now, they might see these through telescopes, they might give us some evidence, we don't know whether we can trust them. I mean, they're scientists, fair enough. But you and I, we've not experienced this firsthand. So how do we know this exists? So we need to take someone else's word as truth. When you have unshakable faith in the Buddha, and that only comes through an understanding of anicca dukkha anatta, and when you seek refuge in the Buddha, the way we've talked about today, when you seek refuge in the Dhamma, the way we talked about today, and when you seek refuge in the Sangha, the way we talked about today, you then take the Buddha's word. Most of things like samsara, unless you can actually go into states of meditation and see your past births. I mean, I've not seen my past births. So how can I be convinced that there is a past birth? I take it through faith. However, this faith is based on something else. I mean, this faith is it's not a blind faith. This faith is based on another message from the Buddha that I have seen and I have understood, and that I have seen for myself. And that is anicca dukkha anatta. Now, when I see anicca dukkha anatta and I realize anicca dukkha anatta, I can apply that to my own life. This is why I think when we talk, this is why I say, the way to test if the Buddha's Dhamma works for you and I, is not to test, is not to check whether you can see previous births, is not to see whether you can read someone else's mind, is not to see whether you can perform miracles like walking on water or flying in the sky. It's not to even check whether, has anyone come back from Nibbana and told us that Nibbana exists. What is the Buddha's message? The Buddha's message is about Nibbana. Mokadda Nibbana කියන්නේ? Nibbana, the English translation for Nibbana is to put a fire out. Okay? Ginnak nibbana කියන්නේ? නැත්නම් light එකක් නිවනවා කියන්නේ to put out. Okay? And generally you can use it for a fire. When you practice anicca dukkha anatta, remember the only reason that the Buddha comes into this world is to talk about anicca dukkha anatta. Attakkara tinipada nahi silena vatang hotu attakkara tinipada sambuddhena prakashata. Okay, so what that means is, the Buddha doesn't come into this world to talk about sil or discipline, basically. He comes into this world to talk about anicca dukkha anatta. Okay? Now when you practice anicca dukkha anatta, you feel for yourself the raga fires, the dvesha fire and the moha fires that ignited in you before no longer happen now. You feel that cool, calm nature within yourself by practicing the Buddha's Dhamma. And through that, you come to the realization, actually, this Nibbana that we talk about is something I'm experiencing today and now. It doesn't matter whether Nibbana exists or not. I'm not saying Nibbana doesn't exist, by the way. It doesn't matter whether Nibbana exists or not, because I can see the effects of practicing this Dhamma today and now. Let me give you an example. Someone tells you, here's the medicine I prescribe. You go to the doctor and you say, I have a cancer, for example. Right? The doctor says, here's the medicine. If you take this medicine, you can cure this cancer. But it's not going to happen for a long time. Okay? However, you start to see some of your symptoms disappear. If you have a fever, your fever will start to reduce. If your hair is falling, it will start to stop. It will stop happening. If you have a rash somewhere on your body, that will start disappearing. Now your objective is to cure your cancer. Until then, you're not going to stop taking this medicine. But as you start taking this medicine, the symptoms that start disappearing give you enough faith for you to continue taking that medicine, does it not? Because that's what the doctor said. You're going to witness within you, you're going to experience within you, the rash starting to disappear, your headaches are going to become less frequent, your hair is going to stop falling. Okay? This will continue until such time that actually you cure your cancer. And that day you can stop taking the medicine. But until then you have to continue taking it. Now, when you start experiencing those symptoms disappearing and you start feeling better, you have faith. But that faith is not blind faith, is it? That's faith based on your experience of trying out what the doctor has prescribed and actually experiencing what he says is going to happen. But that end result you take by faith. Based on the faith that you have or the experience you have now that you are experiencing, you believe, actually, he said that this is going to stop, my headaches are going to go, yeah, it's happening. My rash is starting to heal, yes, it's happening. My hair is not falling as it used to, yeah, that's happening. Okay, based on that, I'm going to believe that if I continue taking this medicine, my cancer is going to cure. One day when your cancer is cured, that day you will not need to have faith in that. Because you will have experienced it for yourself. Now, anyone and everyone, right from Pruthajjana, or even Sotapanna Margastakena, to Arahatun Vanse, just before you become an Arahat, you need faith. You need faith in whatever it is that you haven't experienced as yet. You only attain Nibbana 100% when you become an Arahat. So until then, you have to have faith in Nibbana. However, it's not blind faith, because it's faith based on what you're experiencing already by practicing the Dhamma. Think about your own lives. If you have brothers and sisters, did you used to clash with them often? Your parents, when they ask you to do something, did you always collide with them? You say, no, I'm not going to do that. Did you fight more did you get hurt more when people say bad things to you? Has that changed now? Can you control yourself when you see food and you feel, I really want to have some of that? No, hang on, I'm not hungry. Why do I need to go and have it? Can you control yourself? Do you have more self-discipline than you used to? How can you do that? How is it that you've changed? You've changed because of the Dhamma that you've been practicing. Well, if that Dhamma can give you so much already, and you start, you experience that these fires are now starting to quench, well then I know, I'll take it by faith. That's good enough for me. Nibbana will come one day. Until then, I'm going to practice this. Unfortunately, as I said, there are no, Arahatan Vahanses are very difficult to find this day and age. Otherwise they would come and tell us, here's what I've attained this. Here's what that feels like. And therefore they'll encourage us. But today we have to go by faith. But remember, it's not blind faith. It's faith based on our experience. This is why the test of whether this Buddhism works. Someone actually went and asked the Lord Buddha one day. She asked, it was a lady, and asked, Lord Buddha, there are lots of preachers. They all talk about certain philosophies. They all come and give a doctrine. How do we know which one's the right one? How do we know which one's going to take us to Nibbana? How do we know which one's you're preaching? And then the Buddha says, this problem will forever be a problem. There's only one test that you can do to see if the Dhamma that you're hearing is the Buddha's Dhamma. If when you listen to that Dhamma, the raga that is inside you start to disappear, the dvesha that's inside you in your mind start to disappear, if the moha that's in your mind start to reduce at least, then you will know that that is the Buddha's Dhamma. Raga gini, dvesha gini, moha gini, the fire of raga, the fire of dvesha and the fire of moha. So when you listen to this Dhamma, if you feel the fires that used to ignite within your own hearts, within your own minds, are less than they used to be, then you know you're on the right track. If, however, they start to get worse, something's wrong. Then you need to come and talk to us. Then again, so Nibbana, again, is something that even today, I take with faith. But it is not blind faith. It's, I have heard of Rahatan Vahanse. I know my Samma Sambuddhajan Vahanse will not say something that is not, will not say anything that is not absolutely the truth. And I have experienced through practicing his Dhamma how the raga, dvesha and moha within me have started to reduce. And through that I have found happiness and satisfaction and contentment. And that is enough for me to continue this practice until someday I attain Nibbana. Does that answer your question, Shani? So hopefully one day, once I've completed that journey, I'll give you a fuller answer. Maybe you will do that before me. But until then, it's something that I have to practice and take with faith. Then okay. Any other questions? So you become so on by listening to the Dhamma. This is what you are doing now, Sasha. All you need to become so on is pay attention to what you are listening to. You need someone who has attained the Margapala to preach that Dhamma to you. Someone who has at least attained Sotapanna. So you can only become so on by listening to someone's preaching if they are also a so on, at least a so on. Okay? So in your journey to Arahat, you are so on, Sakadagami, Anagami and Arahat. Yeah? Okay? So on is the first step. If you become a so on, you don't go to hell from that point. Ever. This is why it's so important to become a so on. Okay? You become a so on by listening to someone preach the Dhamma that helps you take you towards Nibbana. Not just any Dhamma. If I sat here talking to you about how to make money, that's not going to help you become a so on. If I sat here, talk to you about how to become a dancer or an athlete or a lawyer or a doctor, that's not going to help you become a so on. If you listen to someone who has Margapala talk about Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta, the Buddha's teaching, that will help you become a so on. All you need to do is listen to it and practice it. You see how easy it is to do that? All you need to do is pay attention and listen to it. Don't let other things distract you when you're listening to something like that.
How do you know if you're or not?
Very good question. So how do you know when you become a Sotapanna? Hopefully your brother and sister should be able to answer this question now, because they asked me this very same question a few weeks ago. I'll give you a short answer and they'll be able to fill you in when you get home, okay? If they can't answer that question, you need to come back and tell me. I asked the question and they couldn't answer me the question, okay? Remember, when the Buddha attained enlightenment, he gave this message of, he said there were 4 things that you need to be aware of. Suffering, the cause of suffering, how to stop suffering, and the path to stop suffering. Okay? Those are the 4 things. What are the 4 things?
Suffering.
Yeah.
Stop suffering.
How, the cause of suffering. What causes suffering?
The path.
How to stop suffering and the path to it. Okay, those are the 4 things. When you are a Sotapanna, these 4 things become clear to you. You don't need to take it out of faith. It becomes crystal clear to you. So we need to, for as long as we need to question, how do we become a Sotapanna? How do we attain Nibbana? What do I need to do to become a Sotapanna? What do I need to do to become an Arahant? Okay? The path is not clear to us. That's why we have to keep asking this question. To a Sotapanna, the path is very clear. It's like if I ask you to go home now, okay? You'd be, I don't know, because I need to ask Ammi how to take me home, because Ammi knows the path home, you don't. So one way you could find the path home is, how to get home is you could ask Ammi, because Ammi has seen the path. Ammi knows the path home, right? This is why you need someone who's already seen the path, tell you about it. Teach you that path. So Ammi can tell you, okay, you need to walk outside, you need to turn left, you need to walk down this road, then you hit a roundabout, you go past the roundabout, you take a right, and then you cross the bridge, and then she'll talk you through how to get home. Now once you know, okay, now that makes sense to me, you might not have started walking that path yet, but you know what that path is. That is the state, that is the mental state of a Sotapanna. The other thing is, there's another thing you can do to test it. But this is not so another way you could test your understanding is day-to-day things that you see around you, you start seeing in a different perspective. For example, if I pointed to you at this glass and said, can you explain to me how you see Nibbana through this glass, through the water in this glass and what you see here? You will be able to explain it. I'll give you an example, right? So let me give you an example. The other day when your brother and sister were here, we talked about how we offer water to the Lord Buddha in the morning. Pan puja karane. Okay? Now in the morning, what we do at home is, the first thing we do in the morning is put the kettle on. We take this glass of water, we throw the water out, and we fill it with fresh water, hot water, and then put some cool water on top, just so it's drinkable, and then we bring it and offer it to the Buddha. Okay? After that we make tea or coffee. Okay? Now, when I make tea at home, I first put my tea bag in, I put water into it, then I put milk into it. Now it's cold because the milk has just gone in and I can't drink it cold. So what do? I put it in the microwave. Okay? So I leave it in the microwave for about a minute. Now, if I asked you, can you think of that process that I just explained there and tell me how that relates to Nibbana? Will you be able to do that? So, with your understanding, when you become a Sotapanna, not everything, but most things you will be able to look at it and go, I can see how that leads to Nibbana. Without someone actually prompting you to do it. You will see something and go, oh, I see Nibbana there. So let me explain how that might relate to Nibbana. Okay? When I bring the glass of water and put it in front of the Lord Buddha, I reflect on the fact that that glass is very, very clean. And the water inside is very pure. It's just clean water, plain water, there's no color to it. Okay? And then I make my cup of tea. And then I think to myself, oh Lord Buddha, Your mind is like this glass. It's very clean. There's no dirt on it. And the thoughts that arise in your mind is like this water. It's very pure. It's colorless. You don't attach yourself to this, that and the other. Okay? It's very clean, very pure. But the tea or the coffee that I make, that's very dark. Right? Both tea and coffee are dark. My thoughts are like that. They are dark with raga, dvesha and moha. Unlike your thoughts. I yearn for the day when my thoughts will be like yours, O Lord Buddha, and not like the cup of tea or the coffee that I make. Okay? Then I put my tea bag into the cup, and then I put water on top of it. Now, remember, the tea bag is what gives the water color, right? If I just put hot water over it, it would just be plain, right? But I put the tea bag in there, and then I put water over it. Now what happens? That plain water that goes in starts to color up, right? It starts getting darker because of the tea. Now, raga is very similar. The thoughts that arise in our minds are very clean until they get defiled by the defilements that are within our minds. So it's like adding water to a tea bag. Now that water then becomes that dark color, okay? And then I have to go add milk. So what do? I cover it up, so I no longer see the dark color in it. This is how we live life, right? When we go and do something that we might even know is bad, we try and cover it up with things, so that other people don't see it that way. We know we're doing something bad, something wrong, but we cover it up so other people don't spot our mistakes, our faults. So it's like me adding milk over it. I know my mind is impure, it's dark in color, so I add milk, so I don't see how bad it is. Then I put it in the microwave, and then I send it round. How does the microwave turn? It goes round and round, right? That's like me going round in samsara. So I turn that microwave on. It goes round and round and round. Because my mind because my thoughts are dark, right? And I now go in samsara, suffering in samsara. What does the microwave do? It heats the water up, right? This is what happens to me in samsara. I have to suffer the heat, the fire of samsara. Pain, death, illness, grief, sorrow, all of these things I'm subject to in samsara as I go round and round and round in samsara. But the offering that I made to Lord Buddha, I didn't have to put that in the microwave, because his thoughts are very pure. He doesn't go round in samsara, but I still do. So if you offer water to the Lord Buddha in the morning, think about these things. When you make tea in the morning, your parents will probably do that for you. Ask your mother, Ammi, can you explain to me how this is going to, or watch her as she does it. She puts the tea bag in, she pours the water in, she puts the milk on top of it. Think about when you do naughty things. Do you hide that from other people? So they don't see it? That's the thing. And then you go into the microwave. You go round and round in the microwave, heating yourself up. When you do bad things, you have to suffer as a result of that. If you hit someone, someone's going to hit you back for it. If you steal money, someone's going to steal your money. And that is pain that we have to go through in samsara. And you have to go round and round and round until you come out of it. And the only way out of it is by seeking refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha. And today we talked about how to seek that refuge. Does that make sense? Okay. So, the only thing you need to do, Sashi, is this. Listen to the Dhamma. Listen to the Dhamma that we talk about. Practice that Dhamma. Okay? And then when you listen to Dhamma, pay attention. Don't worry about anything else that happens around you. Just ignore all of that. Just listen to the Dhamma. Okay? And through listening to the Dhamma, you become a Sotapanna. It only takes 1 second for that to happen. Now, next time when we talk, I'll explain to you what are the various things that need to happen in order to become a Sotapanna. But what you need to do is just listen to it. Okay?
Like what we're doing now.
Like what you're doing now, exactly. So right now you have all the reasons to become a Sotapanna. There's nothing else you need to do. Or you need to pay attention. You need to pay attention and when we talk about examples, so this is why giving examples is very important. Because examples are what helps you to relate them to your life. It's like at school, right? When your teacher teaches you something, doesn't he or she give you examples? Yeah. Because examples help you to relate it to things in your life. Now what you learn today, I want you to go and, when you live your life, so between now and when we meet next, okay? Think about when, if your sister comes and says something to you, if your brother comes and does something, you take something that belongs to you, think about it. Do I feel raga, dvesha or moha? Do I feel angry right now? If you feel anger, think to yourself, why am I feeling angry now?
Because you just stole it without any permission.
Exactly, right? Now, do you change your brother for doing that, or do you change yourself? Are you a mirror person or are you a window person? You're a mirror person. If you could spend your whole lifetime trying to change your brother, but it's far easier to change yourself. If you could have a state of mind where no matter what he does to you, it doesn't make you sad, how powerful do you think that will feel? If you could have your state of mind, this is what the Buddha was. Right? Think about how many things the Buddha had to endure. How many adversities the Buddha had to endure. How many things people came and insulted him with. Right? Have you heard of Devadatta Thero? Venerable Devadatta? He was a monk. Devadatta? Yeah? Think about how many things he did to try and destroy the Buddha. And in the face of all of that, he remained calm, he remained peaceful, because he didn't go and try to change Devadatta, did he? He had changed his state of mind so that no matter what changes around him, he remains happy. He remains content and he remains peaceful. See, this is why I always have this conversation with my parents, okay? And I've told your brother and sister about this as well. My parents are 65 years of age. They have lived for this long, and even today, if you go and say something to them to hurt their feelings, they're going to be hurt. If you take something that belongs to them, they're going to be hurt. If their children die, they're going to cry. The problem is they've lived 65 years of their life, and still today, they haven't found a way to remain happy when the world around them changes against their will, against their wish. But this is the problem. This is why Shastra Mahan said, your Lord Buddha came into this world and said, don't be happy, don't let your happiness be determined by what happens around you. Because they are not in your control. What happens around you is not in your control. Only thing you can do is have a state of mind whereby no matter what happens around me, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be satisfied, I'm going to be content, and I'm not going to start crying or getting angry. Then you seek happiness within you. You find happiness within yourself, not outside. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Good. Any other questions? No? Okay. How are you for time? Okay. Right. Okay, I think we've been talking for about 2.5 hours now. I think it's really important that this, what we are trying to do here is to try and give this message in English. Our Deshavutama preaches this in Sinhala, which is great for those who understand Sinhala. But for some of you who still struggle with Sinhala, we're going to try and do this for as long as we possibly can, or at least as long as I'm alive. I have no guarantee how long that will be. But always make an effort to try and learn Sinhala. No matter how much I try, there are some words that I really find difficult to try and find a suitable English word that gives that meaning. So it's never an easy thing to do. And the problem with that is not that I struggle to find a word. I don't mind that. The problem I have is then you don't get the real meaning of what I'm trying to convey. And it's the meaning that helps you attain Margapala. It's the meaning that you need to attain to become a Sotapanna. I could call a cat a dog. As long as you know I'm talking about a cat, that's fine. So it's not the word, it's the meaning that's important. So this is why I encourage you to try and continue learning Sinhala if you already do, or try and start learning Sinhala. Okay, talk to your parents, because I don't want this to be a thing we do forever. I have my own thing I need to get done. I need to get rid of my defilements in my mind and become an Arahat. So I want to either hand this over to somebody else so that they can continue doing this, or I want you to learn Sinhala so that you can continue. Then you don't have to come and listen to me talk here. You can go and listen to Deshakatama, who preaches in Sinhala. Still we are talking about some really basic concepts in Buddhism, and there's nothing wrong with that. We all start somewhere, okay? But if you learn Sinhala, there's a lot more Dhamma that's out there that might help you to attain Nibbana very soon. So we're only starting this new now, so it's going to take some time before we start talking, like really a profound Dhamma. But remember, we don't need profound Dhamma, you don't need complex Dhammas to attain Sotapanna. All you need to do is listen to what we're talking about and then practice what you've learned the rest of the week. You only get 20% of what you need from here. 80% is what you do after you leave this place. So if you're going to go at that 80% and not do anything, then it's a waste of your time and my time when we come together and I try and give you 20% to try and do your 100%. It doesn't work like that. Does that make sense, Sasha? What I talk about here is very little of what you need to do. What you do after you leave this place is you putting it in practice. That's your homework. So if you don't do your homework, your teacher's going to stop teaching you. Because you're like, well, what's the point? I'm wasting my time, you're wasting your time, you're not doing your homework. How do I know whether you actually understood what we talk about? So that's really important. Okay? Okay. So I think we'll end the Deshana there. We'll try and organize another one of these maybe next week. Were there any questions online? Okay, then. Okay, na? Amadassana, Thero and Sarnai.